Good evening, welcome to Last Bell Boxing. Joined by all the regulars. Sean, how are you, pal?
Evening, guys. All good? Yourself?
Daz Metcalf, how are we doing?
Good, mate.
And all the way over from Canada, Brett. Thanks for joining, mate.
No worries.
Right, lads. I've had to come and give you all a call and get us on this one. Rumour has it that Canelo Alvarez is about to sign a 3-fight deal with Turki Alalshikh. In those 3 fights will include a Crawford fight. Now, I know Sean has a rumour as well that... Sean, I don't know whether you want to bring your little bit into this before we give our opinions on this. What have you heard about the Crawford fight?
Yeah, so I've heard by all accounts it's a done deal, but also Terence Crawford has agreed to no rehydration clause in the fight as well.
So is that no rehydration clause for Crawford or no rehydration clause for Canelo? Or both?
For Canelo.
Right. I'm a little bit staggered at that. But I'll come to you first, Brett. First of all, what's your thoughts on Canelo potentially signing the 3-fight deal with Turki Alalshikh? Obviously, Riyadh season, whether that will be a Riyadh season card over in the States or whether it will be a Riyadh season card in Riyadh is to be seen. What's your initial thoughts, mate?
Yeah. Did any of you ever watch that show growing up with Scrooge McDuck where he's got a vault and he goes swimming in his money? That's how I vision Canelo, mate. His bed is made out of notes, and it's the most beautiful bed you could ever sleep in. So he knew what he was doing a while back when he says, "I don't dance to Turkey's tune; he dances to mine." He knew what he was doing 6 months ago. Yeah, I don't care if who's Turkey, and then he was pretending to hold hands with his mate and all that stuff. He knew what he was doing because Turkey wants to take over boxing as it stands right now. Canelo's the face of boxing, whether anybody likes it or not. Canelo is globally the face of boxing. I'm not saying he's the best, but he's globally the face of boxing. So Turkey's gone out and got him. They say that Canelo likes to hamper his opponents. Well, Crawford's an absolute beast and a machine and a robot in terms of the way he takes down data in those first couple of rounds and then figures a way out. So it makes sense. It kind of matches him in the middle that Canelo doesn't have to have a rehydration clause. It almost kind of evens it out, but you would go into it, you would favor Canelo in that fight. But in terms of signing a 3-fight deal, it's a no-brainer. I mean, the money that he's going to get paid is just a ridiculous amount.
Daz, what's your initial thought, mate?
Yeah, I'm not surprised, but I just absolutely hate the Crawford fight. I mean, what weight is it going to be at? Super middle?
Yeah.
Oh, mate,
if there's no rehydration clause, the likelihood is Canelo's coming in at more like light heavy into.
Yeah, I mean, listen. These weight divisions for a reason. I mean, Crawford started at super feather. He's welterweight now or light middle.
Yes, super welter into.
Do you know what? Yeah, do you know what? I like Crawford, fan of Crawford, but it's not as though he doesn't get hit. He's not exactly Mr. Elusive. He does get hit. He finds a way to win. Like Brett says, in perfect analysis, he collects that data. I mean, come on, if Canelo hits him like he hit Khan, I think it's going to be an early shut-off at computer. I just think I don't know, mate. I just think it's going to be a weight factor. I mean, Crawford's every bit as good, if not better technically, than what Canelo is. But let's be right, Canelo's a clever fighter as well. He does a lot of collecting. He sets traps. I just think the weight makes this fight a bit silly, if I'm honest. I think there's better people for them both to fight.
You know what, mate? You could very easily be talking about a certain other fight that's going to be happening at Tottenham when you use that analogy, couldn't you?
Yeah, but they're not.
I know they're not in that league, but it's the same difference, isn't it? It's the same difference.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I think that fight, I mean, that's just like two European level fighters. I mean, probably not even European when you consider Ben, but that's just like nonsense as well. But this is two absolutely high level fighters, where the finest of margins can make the difference. But we've got a big margin in the weight. That's not a fine margin. That's
Can I
a
throw
big
something at you?
margin. Yeah, as long as you tell me when. So
Let's assume that it's a 3-fight deal. Let's say the Crawford fight is the third of the 3 fights.
Which
that would be at the end of the year, if not the start of next year, I'm guessing. That gives Crawford a year to put the weight on correctly to make super middleweight. Now, I'm sure Crawford will be fighting probably once at middleweight, once at super middleweight before he gets in with.
Yeah, that would be the sensible way to do it.
Now, if that's not the case and it's the next fight, then he's in trouble. If he gets a chance to do this properly, I think
it gives him a better chance.
Not even fight, because if you look at the two stood side by side, there's no difference height-wise. The difference is the seasoned weight gain from Canelo, isn't it?
But I don't think one fight at super middle's enough.
Probably not.
It could do the weight, in the best way possible. But I just think you're talking an whole different level of, punching. I don't think Crawford's a one-hit knockout artist either. He can punch, but I don't think he's going to make a dent in Canelo, to be fair. And I don't think he's elusive enough to, stay out of his way. He's just, he's a wrecking ball, Canelo.
Look,
that way.
Harrison might say this, so sorry to steal your thunder if you're about to say Harrison, but I think it's a no-brainer for Crawford, because if he loses this fight, everyone's going to say all these things that we're saying anyway. And the amount of money he's going to get paid. Yeah. Really, who cares about that O anymore, in terms of the Mayweather O, right? They're on about getting us paid as much money as they can so they can set themselves up for life. This is he's not scared of anybody. In his heart of hearts, he'll believe that he can beat Canelo because he's not feared of anybody. But he'll know deep down if he does lose it, everyone will give him a pass anyway, and he can get back to business if he needs to.
Sean,
sorry, mate. That's a very good point. Sean, to be fair, it's sort of it's a no lose punt.
Sorry, Daz. Sean, Brett makes a really good point there, right? It is a kind of a win-win situation for Crawford. If he pulls off the upset, it puts him on another level, don't it? That puts him right up there with the best.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why he's taken this fight, and that's why he's agreed to no rehydration clause as well. Because the interview I saw, what he put out there, was it's all about his legacy for him in taking this fight, as well as the money. So I think that's his mindset behind it. But again, I'm with Daz, really. I'm not particularly a big fan of this fight, and I can take it or leave it, if I'm being honest.
The problem you've got with Canelo now is he's got to start taking these fights because there's no one else left in his division. He's already shown that he can't step up to light heavy and fight the very best at light heavy. He can fight fringe at light heavy and get away with it, but not the very, very best. So he isn't going to do that unless he really has to. He's going to be fighting the pound for pounds from the divisions below that can make it up there. Otherwise, if he doesn't do that, where does he go? Surely it's retirement because there's nothing else left for him, is there, Brett?
He ain't gonna want to see any of that monster above him, that Benavidez. He don't want none of that.
He don't seem to.
No, he don't, and wisely. He's had a good career. He's done what he's had to do. It's on his terms now. I'm okay with it being on his terms, to be honest. But what I will say is, depending on where this one sits, Andy, let's see what happens between Beterbiev and Bivol. I don't think he wants Beterbiev either, but he might want to go out on his shield on that Bivol one. So if this Crawford one they have a warm-up, both of them have a warm-up fight, it goes in the middle, he might just finish with Bivol to try and get that one back before he decides to set off into the sunset. Who knows? If Bivol
becomes undisputed, you mean?
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine him taking it if there's nothing on the line.
Well, we say that about him, though, don't we? But then but then we've seen Triple G 3 times. We ultimately they'll bill it, and Turkey and Eddie will do an amazing job at billing it as the get back to the reclaim of the, regardless of what happens in that fight. But anyway, we'll see. Who knows where the path's going? But I think you're right, though. If he doesn't get a big name wherever Crawford sits, I don't know where he does go, because he won't want either of Beterbiev or Benavidez.
Right, I think that's a good place to leave it. Thanks for joining, lads. I think it was good that we jumped on that one. Let's watch this space, see what happens. Like, comment, subscribe, everybody. Thanks for joining Last Bell Boxing, and we'll see you on the next one.